As human beings, it's natural for us to want certain circumstances to work out. You want the money, the success, the confidence. But have you noticed for some people, it just doesn't work out? The more they want something, naturally, they push that thing away. In this video, we're going to explore how you can slide into the reality that you want and how to overcome the challenges that block the road to your desires. So the framework to manifesting and attracting your desires we're going to discuss today is from a physicist named Vadim Zeland, quantum physicist. According to his theory, there are millions and millions and millions of these alternate realities that exist in this moment right now. And we, as human beings, can align ourselves with the particular road that takes us towards that destination that we desire. So for example, let's say this is the road we desire, right? The yellow here. And in that road, you have the wealth that you desire, the partner that you desire, the job, the confidence, right? And he discusses how each different road is like a different movie that has already been written in your life. And it's up to us to align ourselves with the road that is going to take us towards our desires. But here's the key. Your thoughts, your energy, and your emotions are what align you with your roads, right? So if you're in a negative state, oh, I can't make that money, or I don't feel too great about this job, or I wish I had more confidence, your thoughts, your energy and emotions there, those negative emotions are going to put you on a road here, for example, which doesn't lead to where you want to go. So it leads you onto a different road. The most important thing is to feel like whatever you desire already exists, right? So if your goal is to be more confident, to have wealth, feel into how it would feel to be more confident, to have that wealth. How would it feel? What emotions would come up? And connect to these emotions and be in these emotions as much as you can throughout your day to day, acting like whatever it is you desire already exists. And as a result, your thoughts, your energy, your emotions are going to direct you to the road that you desire, which means the version of reality that you experience and that you want to experience moving forward has all to do with your thoughts, your energy and emotions. And unfortunately, unconsciously, we go through life not being aware of this and letting our negative thoughts, negative energy, negative emotions put us on a road that's way off from where we want to be. So again, you're feeling as though whatever it is you desire already exists in this reality. You feel it, the emotions, the thoughts, the energy, and as a result, that directs you to the road and the destination that you desire in your life. And the beauty of this, you could have been directing your thoughts, your energy and emotions in a negative way, and you could have been on a road over here, right? Way off where you want to be. The beauty of this theory is that the timelines are not fixed, right? They're not fixed. You could have been all your life on this road here, not being aware, unconsciously stumbling through life with these negative thoughts, energy and emotions. This theory suggests that it's not fixed and you can change that. So even if you have been on this road most of your life, you can make a conscious effort in your thoughts, your energy and emotions to change to the road that you desire. Now, it's all well and good really desiring something, okay, with your thoughts, your energy and emotions, but the framework suggests that if we want something too much, we actually push it away. The phrase he uses for this is excess potential, where we actually want something so much that the opposite effect actually takes hold and pushes it away. My little stick man, I love a stick man. Let's just say like a normal state here, you know, you have quite a nice even energy field around you. What he suggests is if you want something so much, your energy field becomes a bit messier and it creates an inner turbulence. As a result, the universe tries to have the opposite effect on this inner turbulence and try calm this turbulence down, and by doing this puts certain roadblocks in your life. That might be you might get released from your job. That might be the girl that you really liked actually decided to call it a day with you, because the universe is trying to balance out that energy, that scattered energy. Because you want something so much, you actually push it away and do the opposite. And ultimately, the more desperate that you are, And as a result, what people do is these roadblocks come in, then they want it even more. And they're like, oh my God, I want her to like me even more, or I want to make X amount of money even more. So what does the universe do? It's in more roadblocks. And the cycle continues and continues and continues and continues. Something else that he mentions blocks you from getting what you want are pendulums. Now, pendulums refer to problems, fear, even other people that feed off your emotional energy and drain you as an individual, so that one part of your engine, per se, your fuel, is taken away. So it's even harder to get onto that road. These pendulums take the energy away from you emotionally, trying to get onto your destination with only two of these powerful forces, when in reality, to get onto that road and stay on that road and stay on that track and get close to that desire, you need all three to be working in tandem. So these pendulums, problems, fears, people, they work off your emotional energy. Damn, the boss fired me, I hate that guy, blah, 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 blah. You're releasing that emotional energy. Fear, how am I going to pay the bills? What's going to happen this month? Am I going to be able to pay rent, etc., etc.? These pendulums are what take the emotional energy away from you and take away, ultimately, your power as an individual to create your reality and stay on your road. So Zealand created a 3-step method in order for you to find your road, stay on it. The first is the no big deal state. We all want something in our lives, and often, as the example shown before, we want it so much we push it away. So in this first step, you lower the importance of the thing that you desire. Yes, in my example, what I do, think about it first thing in the morning, then let it go. Think about it, feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, the energy of how it would feel to have that thing, and then let it go. Go about your day and have a no big deal attitude towards it. This just releases the pressure. Number 2, act as though it's already happened. When you have, a time in the morning, think about the thing and the things that you desire. As I mentioned, then let it go. But when you're thinking about these things, act as though it's already happened. As an example, if you want that relationship, to call that relationship in, when you're sitting and reflecting on the woman or man that you desire, feel as though it's already happened. Have thoughts that it's already happened. And as a result, that'll change your energy. Then your energy is going to attract the thing that you desire. And when you act as though it's already happened, you have a lightness in your energy. You feel more relaxed in your energy. And the third step is to slide into different realities. For instance, this is the path that we want to be on, this one here. We think about it each morning, have a lightness around it, etc. here, and then we get into work and we've just been told our hours have been cut. What does this do? Well, it creates a thought, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? This affects your emotions, you feel fear, and then this, as a result, affects your energy. You've just lost your job. And what does this do? It powers up these three. And where does that put you? It puts you on a road far away from where you want to be, right? Now, this theory, slide into different realities, is, yes, as human beings, it's natural to feel these emotions, especially if you did lose your job or your hours have been cut, etc. His idea is, yes, you will feel these energies, but then it's important to check back in, to become more grounded and transfer back into this reality. And how do we do that? Again, we reconnect to the idea that what it is that we desire already exists. And then what happens then? We create the thought that it already exists. What does that influence? It influences our emotions. And what does that influence? It influences our energy. And then what happens? We come back onto the road that will ultimately lead us back to our desires. Another example, you've been messaging a girl for a while, and then all of a sudden she calls it off, right? She calls it off. What does this do? It brings up maybe wounds of not feeling worthy, feeling inadequate. Those thoughts come up. Emotions are created. I'm not good enough. You feel sad. You feel fear that you might be, you're going to be single for the rest of your life, whatever it might be. That creates an energy. And where does that put you? It puts you onto a different road here, onto a destination you don't want to be going to, a destination where, it's not aligned with the desires and the life that you want. So what does Zealand suggest you do? Slide into a different reality. How do you do that? Yeah, you feel these emotions, but you don't feel them and get lost in them for too long. You reconnect to the thought, okay, what is it I want from my life? Reconnect to that goal, that purpose, as if it's already existing. And again, not being too attached to it. Reconnecting to that thought. That thought then creates that energy, the emotion. That emotion then affects the energy. And then what does that do? Brings you back onto the road towards things that you desire from your life. The whole idea of Zealand's theory is to take away the desperation towards the timeline you want. Become more calm, more grounded, even in the face of what you think at the time is disaster. And as a result, then you're more able to move from one timeline to the timeline that you actually desire and become more grounded. And this calm and grounded energy naturally aligns you more with the desire that you want. Again, if you had everything that you desired in life, you would have a more calm and grounded energy, right? The version of you would be calm, would be grounded. So when you've got desperation here, desperation is the opposite of calm and grounded, which will ultimately put you on a timeline and a road of desperation. But if you had the partner that you desired, the wealth that you desired, you would be calm, you would be grounded. And what's that going to do? It's going to put you in alignment with the road that will lead to your desires. Forcing creates resistance, alignment creates flow. So if something happens in your day-to-day life, ask yourself, which road am I on right now? Am I on a road that's leading me towards a reality that, I don't desire? If that's the case, give yourself a few minutes, ground yourself, become calmer, connect to the energy, to the emotions, to the thoughts of the individual that has everything that you desire. Because again, that's going to put you on that road. But the most important takeaway from all of this is it has nothing to do with your external environment, but all to do with your internal world. So remember, your future and your life starts and ends with you.